Well, hello, everybody, and welcome again to another week with John and Angie. With Does it resonate with you?
Mhm.
We are noticing today we're up to 80 subscribers. So if you are a listener but not yet a subscriber, I know we keep saying the same thing at the beginning of every show, but please reach over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We sure would like to at least hit 100
And
because
it's
that would
free.
be
It doesn't cost anything to subscribe.
no, and it will make us feel so good. So
It would.
wouldn't
It
that be
really would.
nice? Um, so interesting today because we just kind of, not that we're running out of things to talk about, there's plenty of things to talk about, but we feel like we haven't talked about, told you a little bit about ourselves in a while or kind of what's going on with us. We've both had some crazy cool things come up in the last week that,
Mhm.
we just want to chat about. So stick around, enjoy the ride. And I'll be watching for comments. If you have any questions or thoughts or comments, we'd love to hear them too. Um, anyway, so hi, John. How are you
All right.
this week?
I'm doing great. I I I have at least part of our conversation today should be around abundance and manifesting. I know it's one of our favorite topics, but I got some new insight today, or in the last couple of days.
Cool. Well, let's hear it.
Let's go with it. All right. So
I mean, we might as well just, see
dive
where it
in.
takes us,
Yep. Great.
especially considering this one really cool thing left my head. It'll come back.
All
So
right.
let's just keep talking.
All right, I'll keep talking. So, true to form, I have a new book, new audiobook I'm listening to, and it's called let's see, The Little Money Bible by a guy named Stuart Wilde, and it's apparently he's a prolific author, but it's his like 10 top rules about manifesting an abundance, and I'm through chapter one, and it's entitled "The Law of Abundance is Natural and God-Given." I'm like, that's interesting. But here's what he says, and his preface is basically that, through the ages, governments and religions are all about control, right? But
Hmm.
internally, the truth with a capital T is that we are free, and we are I forgot the word he uses, but basically self-sustaining or self-reliant. He says that is our true nature, and because
Okay,
that
that's our
is
nature. I can go with that so far.
yeah, because that is our true nature, that means that abundance and um, having having plenty is our natural state. And so knowing that that is our natural state, it's basically that what we are either being controlled, or we're controlling ourselves or suppressing ourselves if we are not in that state.
Mm,
Right. That's where it gets a little. He's
mm,
definitely not blaming. He's not blaming. He's not. He says you're not doing it to yourself, but essentially, if you are not in your natural state, then what we need to do is get you into your natural state in order to have abundance. That was kind of the aha moment. Like, okay, if our natural state is actually abundance and having lots and having plenty and not being in a lack of anything, if that's our natural state, well, then it's just a matter of getting into flow and to re-
yeah, okay, so right away, it's never just anything, right? I don't believe it's just
okay, all
anything.
right. So yeah, let's
Just
talk about that.
it, it was an interesting. Um, I was in a workshop with Dougal Fraser. Everybody knows I've been taking that workshop, and he had on. Oh, if I could remember that man's name, he was an interesting character. I'll try to look up his name while we're still on it and get it. He is a medium. He's well known. He's a TikToker,
Hmm.
um, and also I recognized in him some of the catchphrases of Access Bars.
Ah,
Uh, but
they have some particular notable phrases, don't
yeah,
they?
they actually do. And the truth is, if it wasn't for those two guys, I would not have a problem. with
Good
the
point.
work. The
Good
work
point.
is really, the work is really good, but I choose myself not to feed that energy in any way, shape, or
Yep.
form.
Yep.
Feed that energetic
Yep.
matrix, right? And that includes using it, which is a shame because again, it's good work. But Dougal piped up and he said, said, I would really like to put this out there. The idea that privilege has an impact on just what you're talking about,
Oh,
abundance, flow, that natural state. And what did he mean by that? People who are privileged, it is much easier for them to attract abundance. It just
mhm.
is, right? So, not that I object and not that I disagree with the fact that it's a natural state, because I do believe abundance is our natural state. But and then where do you go with that? Are we I don't want to use that V word. Are we a product of circumstance or of our choice? Which physical body to incarnate into?
Mhm.
What have we chosen while we were on the other side to experience while we're here? Um, let's face it, there are certain countries that a woman would incarnate into where she certainly is not at choice or in any way, shape, or form able to generate the kind of flow that you're talking about
Right.
easily or simply, right? So what if the conversation and you're only one chapter in, so
True.
we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
here. But what if, and I think this talks to were you and I talking about it, or was I talking to somebody else about the idea of there is no such word as can't?
No, I
Was
don't
I
think we were
talking to you
talking about
about it?
that, but yes.
Okay, so I was having a conversation with somebody, and their tagline is kind of "There's no such thing as can't."
Mhm.
And the truth of the matter is, for that person, there is no such thing as can't. This person is in a position. I don't want to call it privilege, but privilege,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
In a position of a certain astrological makeup, because I
Mm.
believe in that fully,
Yeah.
a geographical makeup of even, familial or ancestral, right,
Mhm.
makeup, where for this particular person, there is no such thing as can't. But I think that that's not true for everyone. And so I think that telling somebody there's no such thing as can't, or all we've got to do is get you to this state is doing them a little bit of a disservice because you're not honoring where they are. So
Mhm.
instead of saying all we need to do is get you to your natural state, let's investigate what is your actual natural state. Let's look at what is possible for you, because what I think of as abundance may not be what you think. Somebody who, well, this is good stuff, really.
Yeah.
So somebody who has come up, let's say in the projects, we'll just
Yep.
use that as an example because that is definitely, an example of no privilege.
Right.
For that person, an apartment in in just a suburb of Chicago that's a little bit different than living in Chicago itself, with the job that pays them enough money to pay the bills and to have food on their table, and maybe make a car payment and go out for some entertainment once a month or twice a month, looks like abundance to them.
Yeah. That's a good point. That
But
is
for a
really
lot
good.
of us that would be a step down,
That's a
right?
really good point.
And it's not really a step down because it is for them, so much. So how do we reconcile that? Like, I love the statement that abundance is available to all people.
Yep.
But but you have to figure out and I don't even want to say it's impossible, right? Because I believe you should dream, and I believe you should dream big.
Mhm.
Um,
I wonder if it's about incremental improvement, right?
oh, right.
What if abundance today is getting out of the projects and getting your own place and your own job and having that beer money and food on the table And then, abundance, like in a few years, is like, hey, now I've got a house and a car and, kids who are doing well in school. What if it's incremental?
I believe that. And so you just made me remember what my big aha was for the week. I was in yoga. We did a restorative class this week, which I just love so much.
Oh, cool. Those are good.
Um, but every now and then she will take us through, when we're in those relaxing poses, she will take us through these kind of little guided
Hmm.
things. And she's asked this one before, and she'll say, I want you to go and find a place in your mind where you felt safe and secure and loved and, all of those things. Um, and then just take note of that, what it felt like, what it was like to feel that way, and remember that feeling. And we've done that. She's done it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in the last few months. And I was never able to get there.
Uh-huh.
Ever. I was never able to see that at all. Like, I was never able to find where I felt completely,
Right.
right? Where
Yep.
I felt completely safe and secure and everything. Like, wasn't able to
Mhm.
get there. Why? Because I started when I was a kid, when I was
Mhm.
little. And then, time was short. We were
Mhm.
in, time was short. So by the time I would get, like she was ready to be finished, I'd be, I don't
In your
know, maybe
teen
in my
years.
20s or my whatever. And so this time, because it was a restorative class, I was able to go further. And it was like, when we got off, I was literally in tears because
Oh,
I
wow.
said to her, I said, we've gone through that before and I've never been able to find that place. Never
Mhm.
until today. And
Wow.
what I realized is today that place is now.
Oh, cool. That's
Right? Like,
wonderful.
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So I think you're onto it. And so maybe your next book, John,
Hmm.
oh, this is good, is The Art of Incremental Manifesting.
Ooh. Wow. Even a good title.
I know, right? I know, right? I think you're just the man for the job.
Hmm. Okay.
I think you're just the man for the job. The art of increment, because I believe that's the truth. I believe you don't go from kindergarten to high school. I believe that if you want to manifest $1 million, you don't just set out to manifest a million. You need to manifest,
Make
I
10
don't know,
bucks
a
first.
job, right? Exactly. So, oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. It kind of made sense to me. And especially so kind of along the same lines of that. Um, One of the things I'm trying to manifest is a little bit, well, doing better in my business. All right. So I did a reading for myself. In fact, maybe I'll just show you the cards real quick. I got the one of the best readings for myself I've ever gotten.
Oh, nice.
And so here they are. We have the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups and the Strength card. And so what that says to me, what I was getting out of that reading is, um, so the Queen of Wands is creativity. The Queen of Cups is intuition and spiritual, really
Mhm,
psychic spirituality, and
mhm,
strength is that inner strength. And what it was saying is to me is you need here's your direction right now. Make sure your top priority is staying creative and staying in tune with your spirit and have the strength to have your inner fortitude that you're gonna make this work. And the other message that I was getting is you need to reach out to my previous business coach. So here's the question. I was thinking, okay, now if I am not going to give my power away and do this thing and have abundance and manifest, then maybe the business coach is a distraction. Or maybe the idea was no, in order to get to this next step, you need to call the person who can give you the best help and information right now. So I was kind of torn.
Okay. I got something on that if you want it,
I
or do you want to keep going?
absolutely 100%.
So immediately I was struck that it was two queens,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that's leverage, right? Leverage the divine feminine,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
So is the business coach a woman?
Yes, she is.
Well, okay then.
That's why I think I was being kind of prodded in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's exactly what that's
Okay.
exactly what I got.
See,
So
that's funny because that's what I was getting too, like queens, divine feminine, and this
yeah,
this
for
sport
sure.
coach is actually a very, very, almost. She's definitely woo woo, like all in on woo woo.
Okay, that's the thing, right? Like it's interesting because I think I probably mentioned that I'm doing a case study right
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
I've got people already ready to sign up based on feedback they've gotten from the people who are going through it, which I think is amazing.
Cool.
But the deal was that, and I think I mentioned that it came from a being a guest on Mooney's podcast,
Nice. Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that's the whole what is it? Lather, rinse, and repeat thing, which
Right.
we all know Angie can't do, but
Yes.
that's okay because he got it when I explained it to him.
Yep.
Like I want to honor your advice, but I need to make it work for me, who is lather, rinse, and repeat a verse. Okay, however, what I saw clearly, because it was a question that he asked us in the beginning of a meeting that we were in yesterday, is that what he did for me was he helped pull it all together. Like this is literally the ZXUH method. That's what I call it. Visualize, align, surrender. And it begins and ends with self-work and then gratitude, right? Like, because that's the place, that's the beginning and end of everything, is you start with yourself and you end with gratitude. And then everything else in the middle kind of works itself out. Having some really great success too, by the way.
Nice.
But I also said to him, great, I'm putting this program together. I've got the ideas. By the time I'm finished with the 4 sessions, the workbook will be written because I'm writing it as I go based on the, what's happening with the people. And I just don't know at this point, is it a group situation? Is it one-on-one? I think group situation will be more affordable for people. One-on-one, I think would have to be more expensive,
Yep.
All of those things. But then the next step is, how do you package it, tie it up with a nice, bright, shiny, sparkly bow so that people want to buy it, and open it. So the idea that you have all these things, all these parts and pieces out there ready to go, you need somebody to help you pull it together.
Okay.
Right. I mean,
Yes.
that's what makes so much sense to me. So, I love that, because then when you get these ideas of, like, people who I'm working with, it is manifesting, right? It's whatever they're trying to create, it's manifesting, but it's mostly about, and it's very affirmation based. My work right now is very affirmation based. You create these practices based on the way you answer questions, and you get all these really cool spreadsheets and charts and, all of that. So, but that's like the inner stuff, right?
Okay.
That's the work on the person, and the person is part of the foundation. But there's always going to have to be the other person who understands graphics and who understands the I know you understand the technology, but who understands how to make the technology pretty, right? And
Okay.
sparkly.
Yeah. For
Right?
sure.
Like, because it needs to be that way to attract people.
Yep.
How to keep you looking real to other people, and all of those things. So I think that's really fascinating that what it almost would say to me is that it's not just one coach, but 2 maybe.
Interesting.
And I don't
Maybe
know what that
one's
looks like at this moment. I'm not encouraging you to go
crazy with it.
but if you have this business coach and you have the skill to assess what is it that she brings to the party, what can she help me with, where are the holes, right?
Yep.
And then find somebody that can help you with the holes, because I really believe it is very much like I'm considering, and I don't know what this looks like, but a book coach. Like I would like to have a conversation with somebody about writing a book. I don't know what it looks like. I mean, I know what we've talked about,
Mhm.
but I mean like an actual, well, I mean it would be an actual book what we've
It's a
talked
writing
about.
coach.
But
Yes.
you know what I mean.
I'll
Right.
give you her name after the show.
Oh, excellent. Perfect. I just would like to have the conversation and see what's there.
Perfect.
So anyway, so yeah, that's it's a lot. So that's abundance manifesting. How do you feel about that?
I so ecstatic basically. Um, it I was kind of struggling prior to that reading. I'm like, I'm wondering, okay, I got 20 things I could be working on. What's the best use to my time? I don't know, right? And the reading says you need to call, Jackie. And I'm like,
Right, because and I know you well enough now to know that, and I'm very much this way, so this is not shade by any stretch of the imagination. But you are squirrel.
I am
Squirrel.
absolutely
And that's why it was hard. The same thing. It's hard for me. Like, so for you to be able to take all those things and prioritize, and it's really interesting because there's another phenomenon I'm hearing about amongst spiritual entrepreneurs that have all these ideas and have these thoughts, and oh, for heaven's sake, these box elder bugs, whatever. Anyway, it's a like a form of FOMO, right?
right,
Oh my gosh, I'm focusing on this right now. So
right,
what's going to happen to that? Is that,
yeah,
and what I can tell you is this, because I now have experience working with somebody for a number of years, like years
mhm.
now, right? Like this, one of the biggest honors of my work is a person that I've been working with every week for years.
Wow,
Um, and I can tell you that things as they present, you start, you set them, you kind of set them, I don't know, what do you call them, set them on the path,
right,
right? You put them into, begin to put them into practice, and then you maybe even start working on them, and then all of a sudden you no longer, it like falls away. And so what I've discovered, and this is very interesting, I think you'll find it very interesting, is that that let's say that project, I don't know, let's call it a deck, just
okay,
because that's
sure, yeah,
something you
that's a good
can,
example. Yep.
that deck that you conceived of last year, right at this
Mhm.
time, was perfect for who you were last year at this time.
Mhm.
But since then, because of other obligations and other responsibilities and other things you were doing and other interests, and I don't think it's an accident that you're a squirrel, or that not that you are a squirrel, but you are
Right. I
you're
think
a
it's partly
magpie
divine
attracted by shiny
inspiration.
things or
Yep.
whatever, right? Like to me, that is divine. That is divinely generated,
Yes, I
right?
agree with
You're
that.
meant to be that way.
Yep.
But what happens is you have this thing that you conceive of, this deck, whatever it might look like,
Mhm.
a year ago. And then for whatever reason, that spark doesn't ignite, falls to the wayside. And then you bring it forward a year, till now, and your vibration has changed, and it no longer really is in alignment with who you are. So was it a mistake to start it? Absolutely not. It contributed to who you are in this moment.
Mhm.
But do you need to have some kind of awareness so that you can look at it and say, oh, well, that would have been really cool at the time, and it may be really cool again, or maybe it needs to be tweaked, but in this moment it's not in alignment with what I'm trying to create for myself.
So
And
here
then you need to give yourself some grace, and then not say, oh, I wasted time, because you didn't. Does that make
correct.
sense?
It does, but here's my gnawing question, because that situation happens to me more than once. What if I'm 95% done?
Oh, well,
You're
okay.
just like, that
You
last
mean kind of like
5%.
the 6 or 7 courses I've got written in my in my
Right.
in my
Shouldn't
Google
it
slides?
should we just
No.
Power through, get
Yes.
it done, and just say, okay, now it's
Yes.
finished. I may not
Because
market it now, I may not use it now, but at least it's not.
get yourself a pen right now. Get yourself a pen and a sticky note. Do you have one nearby?
I do, right here.
And write this down. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. I got a pen and I got paper.
And anybody that's listening, grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen and write it down for yourself too. Put this as a sticky note on your wall. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. And so, and every coach I've ever run across that's talked about putting out courses or creating memberships or anything of that nature, they all say the same thing. Don't worry about it. Done is better than perfect.
Yep.
Get it out there, launch it, get feedback, maybe change it the next time you launch it. Because anything you launch is always limited, right? You never make anything evergreen until it's kind of tested, right?
Yep, exactly.
You launch it, whatever. So done is better than perfect. So yes, if it's 95% done, then you're going to have to get yourself a set of blinders.
Right. Right. Or stay up late one night and just power through.
Right. Or and I'm going to be honest, I'm considering this. My workbook is not done. It's got 2 sessions in it. It needs to have 4. But I believe that I'm going to probably send that PDF to a writer, a copywriter.
Yep.
And ask them to neaten it up and clean it up. And
yep.
So don't discount the idea of
outsourcing,
of doing something like that, getting help, getting help for something like that. Because the truth is, if it's done, you can launch it and then it generates income, right?
Yeah.
Like,
good point.
Like that's the whole thing.
The whole point to begin with.
Exactly. So that's wow, that's cool. I think that we're speaking to a lot of people right now, really, in this conversation.
Yeah, there's so many ways this can apply, whether it's something you're working on for your business or something you're working on personally. Like,
I mean, even for your home, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's much as I hate to admit the whole clutter situation, and it's getting to a point where I'm just like, I need to get help. I got to have help. I just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, me too. Me too.
It's, I
wonder about that. I wonder, just looking around, our family tends to be more of a keep it because we'll need it someday kind of.
Yeah. Right.
As opposed to, see, our next door neighbors, they're wonderful, but, their house is spotless, and every time she gets something she doesn't know what to do with, throw it away. Right.
Yeah, see, now here's the thing about that. So I would like to actually talk about this because this is my struggle with the whole thing. I can't stand to put things in the trash.
Right.
Not because I can't stand to let go of them, but because I don't want to contribute to the landfill. I mean, that's a really, really hard thing for me. And when
I got a bag of batteries that I don't know what to do with.
Oh, yeah, right. And I looked it up and it said you throw them out. I couldn't believe it.
I know. Like, no, I can't.
Well, we have actually, there's a store here where you can take them for recycling, but it's really expensive.
Oh,
they charge you.
Right. Okay. So in order to do the right thing, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, we pretty much just went to as much rechargeable as possible.
Yeah, that was my solution, but not until I had a big box of batteries.
Yeah, and and the bad thing about that is you just really kind of need to get rid of them so they don't
or get worse.
Battery acid all over.
Yeah. But back to the clutter thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
there's. I know the reasoning, I know the logic, and I know the spiritual meaning of clutter and not having clutter,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I wonder if maybe some of my squirrel behavior is
I would not be at the least bit surprised, because I'm sure it contributes to my situation as well.
Yep.
And it's interesting because the Dougal Fraser, again, I'm bringing up Dougal Fraser.
I like him.
Check him out.
You are more than welcome to.
Yeah, if you guys should check him out if you haven't seen him. He wrote that last deck with Radley, the
Yeah.
colors,
Yep. I've got it right over here. I love it.
which I need to tell them that they made those color stripes too small. I can't see them. But
Wait,
anyway,
wait till they
I
get to be 60. Then they'll know.
yeah, I think Radley kind of is just about. But
Maybe.
yeah,
You think so?
he's kind of my contemporary. If you want to
Okay.
know the
All
truth,
right.
I saw his birthday not too long ago.
Oh, interesting.
But and it was online or something.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I did. I mean, I actually wasn't looking it up. Lisa, the astrologer, wanted to see his astrology.
Oh,
She
cool.
told me I walked with him before, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, it's not surprising to me, but
Sure. No,
but anyway,
that's cool.
let's go back. The last lesson was about clutter, and it was about clearing the clutter so that you could hear, the messages around you and everything. And I get it. Right? I understand it. I understand the concept. My friend, we were talking about cleaning. She says, well, I do it because I know it needs to be done. And I'm like, says who? Like I object, that's like this Aquarius moon thing I've got is real deal, right? Like I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I do not appreciate being told what to do. That includes being told by myself, which is a really like strange situation to be in.
Oh, that's a conversation I would like to be eavesdropped on.
Yeah, right. It's interesting. It's an interesting, because basically you wind up doing whatever you please, right?
Right. So
which is odd because I'm also the person who can't walk in through the outdoor. Like I know I'm what is that? An enigma wrapped in
a puzzle wrapped in a mystery.
Yeah, whatever it is. But so, and then there was, remember, and I think it's Marie Kondo, right? That whole
with a K, yep. The Japanese.
But didn't they find out her house was a mess anyway? I'm pretty sure.
No, she had kids. She had children.
Oh,
and then had to admit, sometimes the house just needs to be messy.
Okay, well that's good. All right, so that's good. But I mean, that I am like, I could be that whole joke about, well, I tried the Kondo way, and she says, get rid of anything that doesn't bring you joy. So I got rid of 6 loads of laundry, my vacuum cleaner, and a stack of bills. Like,
that's funny. I hadn't heard that before.
Oh yeah, that's So I don't know. I mean, I do know. Like, have you ever heard the one about how does it go? I don't remember if it was for anxiety. Is it for anxiety? I think it's for anxiety that it was recommended. But it really can help clear, like, anytime you can clear your channel by doing anything, by shifting energy, and that's what it's about, is shifting energy, right? So there is a thought process of when you're trying to shift energy or calm anxiety or clear your channel, whatever the thing it was, move 27 things. 27 sounds like a lot, but it's not hard to do. I could go pick up 27 things out of my living room. I'm not going to tell you the state of it. I mean, it's not that bad, but there's pencils and hair ties and
I haven't heard this before. Okay, so the theory is if you're kind of in a confusion, if you go move 27
things, and it's something about the 27, which is interesting because 27 is divisible by 9, 7 and 2 is 9, and 9 is like coming to an end.
Sure,
right?
It's a magical number, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it makes sense, and I'm looking here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, that's just pens, pencils, lip balm, a couple of rubber bands, and some paper clips. So it doesn't really take that much.
Right.
Like,
it's not like moving furniture.
Right. But it could be bigger, right? Sure. You could, if you're fortunate to live in a house that can handle a furniture rearrangement, which not all can. Like a
Right. There are some
fireplace
people
really
that don't like that
screws
sort
up
of
the
thing.
yeah, a fireplace really screws up the footprint. Apparently, it's very like time consuming and expensive to take out a fireplace, which is what I would like to do because I believe I've told you we can't turn the fireplace on because it might blow up the house.
Fabulous. You could fill it full of candles and light them instead.
Yeah. No, no. Oh God, no, we can't light candles. Are you kidding? That might burn down the house. And then if you put the candles in the fireplace, because the fireplace is gas, something could happen with the gas, and then the candle would ignite the gas and the house blows up anyway. No, 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 no.
I'm seeing a short comedy sketch here.
It is. It's all there's always it's always some kind of comedy around here. But anyway, so yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder about people listening, like I know that some people are like real and some people are real. And as a matter of fact, in the soul realignment construct, that was the method I used for reading the Akashic record. She did, I, I think, I actually think it was part of her manifesting blueprint. So, manifesting blueprint, and one of the comparisons, because it was all about comparisons on these like number charts, from
Mhm.
0 to 100.
Yep.
And one of the comparisons is organic and linear, right?
Yep.
And 0 organic, 100 linear. And in my mind, organic, right? Unorganized and crazy.
Yep.
Linear,
Let it grow on
right?
its own.
100, right? Well, Angie gets an 18. Like she did the reading. She read it for me. I didn't do it for
Right.
myself. She never met me.
Oh,
She gave me an
wow.
18. She was spot on correct. And it's really funny because I read it, done that reading for other people. And I remember saying the same thing, something similar like 27 or something like that. And
Yep.
explaining to her what that meant. And she's like, oh my God, you have no idea. She said, I buy all these organization boxes, these totes and everything, and I have them in my trunk and I don't know what to do with them. That's exactly what happens to me. Like
Mhm.
I see the clutter and I look at it and I go, I don't know where to start. Like
Yep.
I literally don't know where to start. It's just so I know where to start is close the door,
So you don't see it. Yes. Yeah.
right? And that's even
Mm.
like now I'm in a position where I could actually have somebody come and clean my house, but I don't feel like I want to have anybody come and clean my house until I get rid of the clutter.
Yeah, I
It's
know. Well,
like that big
it's like,
merry-go-round, right? Like what do you do about that one?
yeah, one of my relatives used to like rinse off all the dishes before the housekeeper person would come home, and the housekeeper would see them all clean and put them away.
Oh God.
And then he realized, oh, um, he rinsed them so clean that the housekeeper figured that they were
They were
already
clean, they
clean.
were just
Yeah,
ready to get put away.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, that I mean,
But back to your point, yes. Um, I did have we did a deep clean in our house well, maybe 10 years ago, and the team that came in and did it, there were two of them, and they literally spent 8 hours doing top to bottom everything, and it was one of the most exhilarating experiences I've ever had. We've
wow.
since, um, you know, we need it again, but
Yeah, right, right. So
there's
that's
some.
I can imagine. So this is what I told my husband. I said, "Can we just move everything out like we're moving, and then have somebody come in and clean, and then we could just move back what we really want and need
Mhm.
because I don't know where all this stuff comes from.
It's true.
So what if we did this? I don't know if it's going to work, but we can try it. So you have spring break next week, but what if we challenge each other
Okay.
to clean out a drawer or something
All right. I actually have a.
between now and like in 2 weeks when you come back?
All right.
Clean out a drawer or
or a
Some
pile of stuff in a corner that would look better if it weren't there.
exactly
All right.
something move. So, and a pile of stuff is probably at least 27 things.
Yeah.
So how about that? That's the challenge. So listeners, we're going to make this challenge to you as well. Between now and when John comes back in 2 weeks, next week we're going to have a guest co-host. I don't know who it is yet, but I'll let you know when I find out. Or maybe you might just be listening to me. Who knows? Anyway, between now and 2 weeks from now, when John comes back, 27 things. Move 27 things. And just take note of how you feel before and how you feel after. And if it motivates you to move another 27 things.
I can see that happening.
Whether you do it or not, but I could see it happening. So that would be really great. It's really amazing to me how we can, like even when we don't really know what we're going to talk about, how the 40 minutes can just go.
Here we are at the end of another show. And
Yeah.
I would say this is probably one of our most interesting conversations.
I would say so too. So also, just because before we log off, I wanted to remind everyone that we've been through the whole tarot deck and we're working on what it looks like for moving forward for tarot time. So for tarot time today, I am going to pull from the Dragon Writers Oracle. I probably could tell you who published it, but it's too small. Oh, it's this way. Who wrote it? Christine Arana Fader. It's a really, really cool. It's a really, really cool deck. So we're gonna log off. We're gonna come back on for tarot time. I'm going to pull a dragon card. Maybe, John, you can still pull a tarot card. We don't need to do the explain.
Yep.
You pull a tarot card, I'll pull a dragon card, and that will be a reading for the week.
Absolutely.
What a wonderful idea. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, reach down and hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. If you love us, share us. And if you watch on Facebook, please pop over to YouTube. The channel is called Does It Resonate With You?
Yep, easy to find.
And hit that subscribe button because we really would like to get to 100 because wouldn't it be amazing?
It would be.
I mean, I'm sure there's SEO and YouTube shenanigans we could do to get it, to go up faster. But for right now, this is
we want real subscribers.
Yeah, right? Like people who really want to watch.
Exactly.
Anyway, all right. So thank you all so much. And we will see you in a few minutes for tarot time. And then we'll see you next week.